Hi, welcome to Nakama News. I'm your host, Jordan Goldie, and this is my co host, Jamie Loagi. And we got a lot in store for you today. Jamie's going to run down the news for you.
All right, so let's get started with our weather report. We got a cold front coming in, a high risk of frostbite. Some individuals are even finding themselves frozen solid, so keep an eye out for that.
In other news, a new study finds that old men tend to get lonely in their old age. Go check in your grandpa today, or any other geriatric old man that you can find in the street.
Also, eyewitness reports have spotted a feral polar bear in the ocean carrying an unconscious man. You don't see that every day, do you, Jordy?
No, you don't. This is the news in Nakama
The common news, you'll see friendship when you view the common news. Well, everyone lends a helping hand or two. I'm glad you could stick around for a minute now. You're always welcome back. The common news.
All right. So yeah, let's get into it, man. We're gonna be going over chapter 1081 review. So if you haven't read that chapter, please pause the video, read it, come right back because we need your views. Honestly, please come back.
No spoilers here.
Yeah, no spoilers here. So I feel like the cover story, even though it wasn't a story, just as some art, was kind of interesting this week. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Sanji had a pretty interesting book there.
Yeah, I'm still not sure if it was cocking, like the act of,
Careful, what I'm into.
or color of Conqueror's king with a little crown next to it. So that could be some foreshadowing. What do you think?
I don't even know if Goldie Roger had a third person on his crew with Conquerors Hockey, so that would be some really interesting stuff. But it does, I mean, Oda does play into his cover stories with the foreshadowing quite a bit, so you never know.
Yeah, I've always been more a Zoro guy. You're a Sanji guy, so I'm sure you're probably rooting for some Conquerors here.
That would be awesome. It would make my day.
I feel like he's gotta. I feel like by the end of the story, he'll have it too. It'd just be kind of weird for the one arm of the Pirate King to not have it. So, but yeah, let's get to it. So the first scene, pick up right where we left off last week, right?
Yep.
It was the aftermath of Garp's
Garp
galaxy.
destroying the entire island.
Rest in peace, island. Um, yeah, a pretty cool scene, I think, because it still shows the ship kind of coming in after him, and then Prince Groose down there with the clay fruit catches the ship with his clay while Garp lands in front of it. One of the coolest scenes. That's going to be really epic when it's animated. Cool guys don't look at explosions, while cool old men don't look at their ships falling right behind their back. So that's pretty cool.
He's not even worried about it landing on him. He's just like, no, they got this. No, it was fun. It was cool to see Garp get his own little piece, and he doesn't really have to hold back again this time. So we're seeing Garp and going full throttle for the first time in One Piece.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot of fun. I know you were enjoying that last week, so you get some more of that this week. Uh, Garp with a funny line right off the bat too. He's looking at all of his destruction. The whole city's laid to waste. People are unconscious, and he's like, "Man, just look at this mess." Dang. He's like, "I'm losing my edge." like, like he's just disappointed he didn't cause more damage. So you gotta love that. Um,
Classic
yeah,
One Piece.
classic One Piece, and then we get some kind of reactions from the sword members. You got Prince Groose, Hijaku, I believe, has the whip fruit. You know, um, and then it shows Kobe kind of carrying his little ball and chain, running towards them. Hibaru says she can't get the shackles off. And then it looks like Garp maybe gets a little observation hockey moment here or whatever. And next thing you know, Hibari is just completely frozen. which can only be done by one person. Your man, the myth, Aokiji.
Aokiji coming in hot, or maybe I should say ice cold. Yeah,
Ooh.
Garp.
Ooh.
I don't know about the observation hockey with Garp thing because he's got that look, which can only really mean two things in One Piece. Either he's so angry he's about to murder somebody, or he's just sick to his stomach. And so I don't know if he witnessed it or if it was that he saw it coming. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, no, I know you're talking about the next panel that has Garp's eyes all shadowed out. But there's a small little bit on the panel where Kobe and Hibari are running that shows Garp's face looking surprised before she gets frozen. So I like to think that maybe it's him having a little observation hockey. I'd be surprised if any of the monkey people don't have all three hockeys because they're all pretty big time. So,
True.
but yeah, I agree. Garp definitely looks pretty pissed off to be seeing Aokiji here and now. So kind of exciting. Um, and then where do we go next? We do a little flashback, right? Back about a year prior, a year after the Aokiji Akainu fight. We're at some random island in the New World, and you just again just this wave of people frozen. Anwan Wolf just giantly frozen. You got Vasco Shot looks like he's frozen. Doc Q stronger. They're frozen, and Blackbeard's like only one person could have done this, and then they confront Aokiji in the bar. What did you think of this little flashback starting off here? Any surprises?
Well, I'm surprised that we had a flashback because it's Aokiji. We haven't gotten one of those ever. So this was kind of cool to see. Uh, it's obviously we see Aokiji freezing everyone in Blackbeard's party. That's a little kind of a sweet justice moment, a little feeling with everything Blackbeard's done in the past. So it's good to see that. But yeah, we got Aokiji in the past. Let's see it.
Yeah, and I like how it's interesting. Aokiji says he's in a state of mourning. It's not the right time. So obviously he took that loss pretty hard, and not being part of the Marines anymore. I feel like that just kind of shows the impact that losing to Akainu and not becoming the fleet admiral had, because as you recall, the Sengoku wanted Aokiji to be the fleet admiral, but the world government powers that be wanted Akainu, so they had a duel. So it looks like he took the loss pretty hard.
Yeah, he seems to have kind of lost his way. He doesn't really know what to do next, and so he's just kind of chilling at a bar. I mean, I can't blame him. I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
Lots
I
of
mean,
people
your
blame their
whole life gets torn down. You gotta drink those sours away. That's how it goes. Um, we then see a quick transition, a little surprisingly how fast it is, but Blackbeard and Aokiji kind of buddy buddy now, having a good time. Aokiji tells the story of like what Akainu was saying during their fight. How Akainu was like two men who came up in the ranks together in a fight to the death. He's like, I can feel something boiling within me, and then that's when Aokiji said back to Akainu that. You think, well, you're made of magma. So it's just a little joke from him that was pretty good. We never really seen him make jokes before, so I'm wondering if this is within his character or if he's putting on kind of a show or a front to sneak into the Blackbeard Pirates. I'm not quite sure. I could see it either way.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if we're seeing the real Aokiji or if what we're seeing in this flashback and up till now is a bit of a front. But um, bad joke, Aokiji. Bad joke.
Yeah, that's a dad right there. Jeez, man. But then we get Katarina Devon talking about the man marked with flames, but in the official translation, it's actually she just references him as Burn Scar, which I thought was interesting. So I'm happy that we recorded this after the official one came out, because they're just calling this man Burn Scar, which cool nickname, also not very creative at the same time. So. But we got Blackbeard, we got Whitebeard, we got Burn Scar. Um, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what my nickname would be. It'd probably be Patchy Beard at this point.
Just the first thing you see on the person, that's their name. Be as descriptive as possible.
It's like when I had a cat and I named him Orangey because it was an orange cat. It was the worst name of all time. So I feel like we're not
Oh,
being
yeah.
too creative lately. But yeah, Blackbeard's kind of talking about how they need the rest of the poneglyphs, and two of them they're not sure where they're at because they don't know about the one on Zoe. And then they suspect that the man with the burn scar has the other one. And then we get a little Lafitte kind of given some lore maybe on this character where he says he rides in an all black ship, swallows enemy in gigantic vortexes. They wander too close. Perhaps that's a devil fruit at play. And then Shiru says he thinks it might be a government man because the government's got a lot of dark secrets that they're trying to hide, and one of the best ways to do that would be to keep their own poneglyphs so pirates can't discover those secrets. So, what were your thoughts here? Any theories? Any observations?
Um, Theories are tough. I like Shiryu's idea of it being a government official just because it would make a whole lot of sense if the government was the one that was preventing anyone from becoming the next pirate king. But it seems too obvious. So there's a there's a good chance it's a character we've never met. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. And of course, whenever this fandom, whenever they reference kind of a mystery person, everyone jumps to the same few people. It's always Roxy Zebek, Scopper Gabon, the kind of Sanji of the Goldie Roger pirates. People sometimes will think it's Dragon who's showing up. I'm not convinced it's any of those people. Could be Rocks, could be Scopper, but I don't think it's Dragon because we know at least pre time skip he does not have a black ship. The other people less so, but I kind of hope it's a new character. I think it'll be fun with a new Devil Fruit. I think that would be really cool. So
I think we heard a theory that we like that was possibly Davy Jones, didn't we? That was
yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah, we
I
were
like that
talking.
theory.
Yeah, the Davy Jones has been hinted at back on Long Ring Island. I think Robin informs the crew that I think it was Robin tells them that the person who invented the Davy back fights was Davy Jones himself. So the character is established in One Piece, but yeah, that would be sweet. That would be
It's a
really
long shot, but we can cross our fingers.
yeah. And it might just be some guy named Black Scar or Burn Scar, and he's just there.
Hello, Burns
What's up, Mister Scar? It's good to see you.
guy.
There's also the theory people were having that in the second chapter of One Piece, Luffy is out on his little fishing boat by himself, and out of nowhere encounters a giant whirlpool. So, would Oda tie this back to that? Because that had no explanation. All the other whirlpools in One Piece at Sabaody, maybe Sabaody, Skypiea, the Knockup Stream, and Egghead Island all kind of had explanations for them. But the one that Luffy encountered was just kind of out in the middle of nowhere in the East Blue. So kind of fun to think about.
Yeah, it is weird that there's only a few times where Whirlpool came up in a long comic book about pirates sailing the seas. So it is interesting.
And yeah, let's see. Let's get back to it. It looks like Aokiji kind of uh, remembers a little bit about O'Hara, the incident there with Saul, with Robin. He's feeling a little bad about that. Lafitte recommends to Blackbeard maybe stealing Aokiji's devil fruit since it's a Logia and it's so strong. Aokiji hears that, gets mad. They have a little argument. And then Blackbeard says he didn't mean that. He actually wants him to join him. And then, you know, Aokiji's quick to tell him, like, hey, we may have been having some drinks together, but I'm not, like, about to join, your pirate crew. And then Blackbeard kind of shares some of his wisdom or maybe his philosophy on pirates and says like, hey, we don't all need to agree on everything. We just need to have interests that align, or that we can help each other out to achieve our interests. So sort of some similarities to the Straw Hat crew in terms of having different goals, but it definitely seems like a more selfish pirate crew here. What are your thoughts on this scene and Aokiji joining up with Blackbeard?
Yeah, I agree a lot that there are some similarities but different, and I think that the scene kind of clarified the similarities and the differences between Blackbeard and Luffy, which is kind of cool because we can see that Blackbeard, he doesn't care about friends or friendship. He just wants to build a crew that is similarly aligned in their interests. But he is kind of like Luffy in that if he sees a cool guy or a strong guy, he's just going to ask him to join him, and he's all hyped up about that. He doesn't really care about the consequences.
Well, Luffy also asked the zombie tree and whatnot to join him too, and a guy who's treasure chest. So you don't. I still question Luffy sometimes on who he asked, but he's done pretty good. Yeah. So next scene, next page, it shows back to the current timeline. Aokiji fighting Garp. Uh, Aokiji or Kuzan gets like the actual kind of banner below his name, introducing him as the 10th ship captain. So we had we had always wondered who the 10th one was. A lot of people thought it could be Aokiji, but since they were so slow at actually announcing that, people weren't sure if it was going to be him or not. But it looks like it is. He throws an ice ball attack at Garp, freezes him completely, like how he froze Whitebeard at Marineford. And similar to Whitebeard, that attack did nothing. He immediately dissolved. So that was kind of interesting. What are your thoughts on Kuzan or Aokiji being announced as the 10th Titanic captain of the Blackbeard Pirates?
It was pretty surprising because I mean I figured out Kiji, if he did join, it would be he has some kind of secret motive, but they're trying to make it pretty clear here that no, he just kind of lost interest after not being able to be the fleet admiral, and then he just joined up with Blackbeard. So they showed how it happened, and that makes it a lot more convincing, which makes me a little sad because I like Aokiji, and we kind of have to root against him now, fighting our boy Garp.
Yeah, yeah, and it looks like Garp's not very happy about it either. And then Garp has an interesting line in the next page where he says, listen up, Kuzan. Wavering is a sign of weakness, and then immediately punches Aokiji into the ground with a move called Blue Hole, which is pretty sick. And I was telling you earlier how I thought this scene, like him, Garp saying the wavering is a sign of weakness, reminds me of when Luffy was running up the scaffolding at Marineford and had to go through Garp. And Garp was committed to his role as a Marine and was going to, beat up Luffy. But then Garp hesitates or wavers kind of right as Luffy's coming, and then takes a punch from Luffy and falls off. So I wonder if there's a little bit of that here where Garp's like, I'm not gonna hesitate again. I'm gonna do my duty. You kind of turned traitor on us, and you're gonna get punished for it. So, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, that's an interesting thought because um, it's hard to bring up the comparison. Like you think that he's just Garp lecturing, right? But it could just be him self-reflecting, and that's not something I thought about right away. That's really interesting. Um, I guess I could see it. I think Garp is just fed up with all the people who he doesn't know who to protect anymore. He's fed up with everyone becoming a pirate, and he's just like I'm gonna go all out right now. There's no reason for me to hold back. I just got to do my job.
Yeah, and really off topic here, but I feel like Garp's really interesting because he's a guy who wants freedom, also doesn't want to deal with like the Gorosei and their kind of BS, but at the same time, he's very much by the book and joined the Marines because he thought that was the right thing to do. Whereas Monkey D. Dragon's part of the Revolutionary Army, definitely not a Marine. Maybe could have been in the past. They sort of hinted at it in the flashback at Egghead when he meets Vegapunk. And then obviously Luffy is a pirate. So in some ways, Garp seems like he almost should have been a pirate, you know?
So one of the craziest dynamics in One Piece. Two, three leaders of the three different sections of or there's three different factions within the story, and they're all different generations of the same family. It's
It's a
hard
stack,
to say.
stack, and we still don't know any women in this whole family. There's no mom. I don't know. Luffy's got a sister hiding somewhere. I'm not sure.
That would be crazy.
So the next
I haven't
page,
watched.
next scene goes different place. Now we get the resolution of Blackbeard versus Law. And I don't know about you, but when I saw the Winter Island New World, and then it goes to Blackbeard smiling, standing up, looks like he got beat up pretty good, and then just a picture of Law's hat. I'm like, ooh, this isn't good. And I thought that maybe the Reddit theories of Blackbeard going zaha ha ha room. I thought maybe that was going to happen. It did not, and I'm grateful it didn't. But holy cow, that would have broke the internet if it did. And then we see the polar tang kind of sinking below the ocean, destroyed. And then, yeah, we see a close up of Law and Beppo on the ground, beaten. And then we get a little line from Blackbeard tying in the 100 hearts that Law stole to become a warlord. He apparently got those from the Rocky Port incident. And those pirates are still just waiting there. No heart. Not sure how their Kodiak contract is working. Good for them. Good for them. I guess we don't really need a heart sometimes. Um, but yeah, what do you think about this scene? This kind of the way that this fight worked out.
Well, Oda definitely knows how to give you a scare. That's for sure. Um, he's you're never totally worried unless Blackbeard's involved, and then you just know that there could be a problem. So it's good to see Law is still alive. We haven't seen him completely dead yet. So good news for any Law fans out there. Um, and Blackbeard with three fruits would have been insane. I don't know how you can compete with that. Nobody knows how the Opie Nomi fruit works still, let alone like if you had two other fruits to go along with it.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that so at the end of that scene or that page, we get a little bit of Chopper kind of in a brief flashback talking to Beppo, saying how he made him a special rumble ball like thing that he can use, and Beppo's excited. And then Beppo eats it while he's laying on the ground. And then it goes back to Blackbeard, and he says like, "What should we do with you? What should we do with your fruit? Should I sell it or should I use it?" Or would you be up to give me eternal life? Which I think is interesting because I think that kind of really reinforces the fact that you have to willingly give someone eternal life, do the eternal youth surgery. You can't just force them, so unless you blackmail them or whatnot. But and then we get an epic panel of Beppo in Sulong form. Finally, went the whole Wano arc, not doing it. Dude took a vacation, and now he's got one of the coolest Sulong forms I've ever seen. Honestly, it looks like twisted metal version of a polar bear. It's insane. And I love how Blackbeard is such just like a little wuss. Like anytime something crazy happens, he's like, "Oh my gosh!" Like he's so scared. Um, and then Blackbeard's like, "Sulong, it's not even a moon. How are you doing this?" So pretty interesting. Beppo then grabs Law and escapes out to sea and kind of swims away. Law's like, "Hey, don't leave our crew. They're still there." And then Beppo's like, "No, you're the important guy here. Those guys will be fine. They're resilient. They're from the North Blue, just like us." What were your thoughts on this kind of, ending with Beppo, Blackbeard, everything?
I'm glad that Beppo got his moment because, like you said, we waited all Wano and got nothing. I don't know if he was sleeping, he's hibernating for the Wano arc, or what was going on there. But glad to see he's back and he's rescuing our boy Law here because he sure as heck needed it. That form is awesome. I couldn't tell if he looked more ghost or grizzly bear, but it was Beppo went Super Saiyan. That was fun to see. Um, Blackbeard he's always been like that. I don't know if that's a character trait. It's just like he's so insanely strong, but he's so easily frightened. So I don't know if that's just a Blackbeard thing. It's kind of that's kind of funny. And then we got Law, which is just I don't know, Law getting beat right after Kid. That's tough. That's tough to see.
Yeah, yeah, and they're definitely setting up the final chessboard, right? Like, Law and Kid weren't gonna be, and they might be in the end game, but they're not end game level characters. Though Oda tried to hype up Kid for whatever reason as like Luffy's rival, but that I never really bought into that. But now we have Luffy, Shanks, and Blackbeard all have 3 poneglyphs. So we'll see kind of how that goes. It looks like everyone's trying to chase down this Burn Scar guy,
Burning Star.
and I'm not quite sure when or where that'll be. Um, Luffy's got Robin; she can read the poneglyphs. Blackbeard's got Pudding; she theoretically can once she awakens as a member of the Three-Eyed Tribe. Shanks, we haven't heard that he has anyone that can read, but he could also be like Goldie Roger and be able to kind of read the poneglyphs just by kind of his will of all things or voice of all things kind of hockey stuff. So interesting. It definitely seems like those 3 characters are destined to meet in some fashion. Not sure which one though, or how that'll go.
Can we just acknowledge that Law's crew is probably dead? They're just like, I mean, or they're just like they're gonna be like slaves or something. I don't know what's going on there, but they're not coming back. There's no way unless they go and rescue them from Blackbeard. Like those
Yeah,
guys they're in trouble.
yeah, they might. Yeah, because Blackbeard's one of the only pirates we've seen since Doflamingo who's actually had slaves. Doflamingo was using the toys, and Blackbeard, like at Hachinozu Island, like Kobe was escaping with all the slaves. So Blackbeard's got a pretty dark side to him, using slaves and stuff. So it wouldn't be above me for him to take them prisoner. He's done it a couple times already with different characters. But yeah, those dudes are not going to be in the story.
They're in trouble.
Their,
I feel bad for Law's crew.
their highlights were spitting water and rescuing Luffy at Wano in the ocean. That's probably it. But yeah, overall, man, I thought this was a 10 out of 10 chapter again. Like you know, it had some good reveals. It had some introduction of new lore, new character potentially. Um, Big time, chess pieces all in this chapter. So it's really cool. I think we continue to just get banger of a chapter after chapter. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, whenever Oda seems to take a week in between his chapters, there's something big coming out because this one was fun. You get the whole mix of we got a flashback, we got comedy, we got fights, and we got big reveals, and even like off screen fights where we that would be cool. I wish we could have seen Law fight Blackbeard.
And
Would never happen.
can't finish this video without me spitting out my unhinged theory.
Yeah, you had a crazy theory earlier that you were bringing up. Let's hear that again.
It's so I'll get absolutely drugged through. Like, people will slam me in the comments. Our 3 comments will be, that's the worst idea I've ever seen. But so we've always known Blackbeard's had 10 crewmates, in addition to himself. And right now Luffy's got 9, Nakama. And he said at the beginning of the series he would have 10. We weren't sure if that included him or not, but I feel like the fact that Blackbeard's got 10 others, then I think Luffy will get 1 more. So this is where it gets wild, okay? You gotta stick with me, and understand that this probably won't come true, but it would be insane if it did. In Wano, we learned that Luffy is Joy Boy, or at least has the same fruit, but it was never confirmed why he's Joy Boy. And we also learned that Zunisha, who just showed up to say hi and then left, was Joy Boy's Nakama. So just keep it in mind. We also had time travel introduced with Toki's fruit, though they did be very straightforward to mention that it only goes forward in time. But the Straw Hats are needing 1 more crewmate. We have all these kind of plot hole things that need to fall into place. What if, and I mean what if, Somehow Luffy goes back in the past, meets Zunisha in the past, befriends him. He's actually the 10th member of the crew. Um, and that's why we have kind of Joy Boy mentioned in the past, Luffy's Joy Boy. It still is really him in the past. It would really fit a couple things into place, and I think that'd be very, very interesting. And they reference this big event that could happen at Egghead, and if anyone's going to have invented anything like time travel or copied a time fruit, it would be our boy Vegapunk at Egghead Island. So something to keep in
Man,
mind.
if you got that right, that would be something to blast for quite a while. You'd have bragging rights for the rest of One Piece.
We'd go from 10 viewers to 20 viewers, no doubt.
We would double whatever we had, even if it's
Maybe,
from 2 to 4.
maybe triple. We're coming for you. Line Review and other big YouTube channels. We're coming for you. But yeah, any final thoughts or predictions for next or 2 weeks from now? Because there's a break next week.
Well, I do love this chapter. We had a great time. Like I said, there's everything in it. When it comes to predictions, I think that we're gonna finish up here whatever's going on this fight between Garp and Aokiji, and then I think we're gonna go back to Egghead and see what's going on there, where maybe we'll see some time travel. Who knows?
I just want to figure out why Kuma went back to the red line and is climbing up. Like the final resolution of that story, because that to me is the craziest thing that's going on. But yeah, I agree. I think we'll probably get the resolution of this fight, and then yeah, who knows? Maybe Law and Beppo end up in Egghead, something like that. They got to be going somewhere. There's not too many islands left to go to, so we'll see.
Eventually, we're gonna get all these pieces converging, and it's gonna be you can feel it coming. It's getting exciting.
Definitely. Well,
all right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. This has been Jordan and Jamie over at Nakama News, and thanks for joining us for this week's news.
Stick around for a minute now, you're always welcome back. Nakama News.